3D printing guns. We've covered this like 3 weeks ago. We have an update. So the state of California has opened a lawsuit against websites that publish blueprints for 3D printing ghost guns. The California Attorney General and also San Francisco City Attorney has filed this lawsuit. This actually was submitted to the courts February 6th, 2026. What are the allegations? So the allegations of this are that various websites have made it possible to download design files for 3D printing firearms, provided instructions allowing individuals to print, quote, Glock-like handgun frames and other firearm components. This was, everyone had access to this without background checks, no serial numbers, no age verification. According to investigators, state officials were able to download files with a few simple keystrokes and also effectively 3D print and assemble a working Glock-style handgun. And they were also able to get access to over 150 firearm designs. Now, obviously, on the state website or on the state side, they are saying that this violates the California civil statute relating, quote, ghost guns. And this facilitates unlawful firearm manufacturing and also contributes to a public safety crisis. Quick numbers here. In recent years, there's been over 11,000 annual ghost gun collected, evidently. So this is not like a small problem. This appears to be a very large issue. The state is seeking a permanent injunction to stop distribution of these files in the state of California. They are also seeking civil penalties and additional court-related relief. As we have covered 3 weeks ago-ish, the other side of this argument is free speech. Federal courts have previously ruled that publishing code can qualify as protected expression. Similar litigation occurred involving defense distributed, which centered on whether 3D guns filed constitutes under protected speech. Let me see. But yeah, this is something that we have covered in kind of in detail like 3 weeks ago. Please go watch that video. This does appear to be a lot bigger of an issue. 11,000 guns every year collected is that's pretty alarming. And to be able just to simply go in, 3D print, and have no trace whatsoever, no background check, no age check. Yeah, I don't think anyone wants this. Alex, what are your thoughts?
I struggle with this topic. I really do.
Yeah, I kind of struggled just like going through reading it. I'm not sure if you picked up on that.
No, you did great. I struggle with this topic for a couple of reasons. And I'm gonna make some analogies here, right? But bottom line up front, I think that this is a failure on the part of our Congress and our Senate to do anything fucking meaningful. Anything at all. Okay? And I have become more and more convinced over the last few years that the only solution to kind of fixing a lot of these problems is we need 4 or 5 constitutional amendments. We need like 4 or 5 more. Okay? Like, and again, it is on our Congress and on the, you know, on the House of Representatives, the Senate. It's on these people to deal with this shit. This comes down to AI stuff and things like that. So, and here's the example, the analogy I'm going to make. Porn is covered under the First Amendment. You are permitted to create pornography, right? This is settled case law, right? Okay? You're allowed to make porn. you're allowed to do that. But there are limitations to that porn. You can't make child sexual assault material. That's not allowed, right? We all agree on this, right? But now we're getting into these weird arguments about porn again, because again, you brought up code is a First Amendment right, okay? So if I program an AI system to create pornography using someone's real life photo, is that my First Amendment right? Right? If I create code that allows you to 3D print ghost guns, right? But hey, I'm using that for my own purposes and I'm just using it for target practice and for fun, is that my First/Second Amendment right? And the honest question, the honest answer that I have for those questions is I have no idea. And this is the problem. And it again, it is on our representatives to fix this, right? You are going to have to find a way within our society to decide what we consider okay and not okay. Okay? And we as voters are going to have to get to the point where we start becoming single issue on certain things, right? Like the AI regulation, like 3D printing of ghost weapons, like what arms control. That's it. I don't know what I have to be honest. I have no idea what the answer is, but again, our representatives, our government is doing nothing. And quite frankly, I'm sick of them. And this is both sides. The fact that we continuously have to legislate through the courts is ridiculous. Right? That's what we're doing. We're legislating through the courts. That's driving me nuts. Somebody in the chat saying, I'm not sure America in its present incarnation can actually pass a constitutional amendment. And I agree. I don't think right now we can. I do not think at this point that if you tried to push a constitutional amendment through, that it would go fucking anywhere. Right? So
touching on your porn analogy here. Yes, porn. You have the right to it. You can make porn. You can consume porn. But to drive your point home, there's regulations around porn. There's US 18 USC 2257 for record keeping. You must create and maintain well-documented records of each individual, blah, 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 blah. You have to do age verification. There's like a whole list. And then you also have like it broken down, like it states here, like every state might have like different laws and regulations. You also have to consent releases and all of this kind of stuff. So,
but now we got the AI porn, right? So if I use someone's real life picture, feed it into an AI thingy and be like, make a porn for me, a porn video with this person's picture, am I exercising my right to free speech?
So I think, yeah, okay, fine, you got me. Okay, you backed me into a corner. I mean, me personally, I think it's like if it's for your own personal use,
consumption,
probably going to be okay. But if you make that and then try to distribute it, not okay. But yeah, we need regulations around AI and also around 3D printing guns, because we don't. Yes, there's like, oh, this is my freedom of speech and also my Second Amendment right. But at the same time, you don't want, I'm going to go to the extreme here, like drug cartels or gangs or whoever to be able to massively 3D print guns and then go shoot up a whatever, insert whatever here. And then not have any sort of serial number or anything, and then you just melt down the gun and throw it away.
Right. And that actually brings us to our thing. Because we have some folks in the chat. We got some comments on the last YouTube video we did about this. And actually, that's a great example, right? Because there is no age limit on a 3D printer, right? Any goofball can go buy a 3D printer on Amazon. Number one. Number two, what is to stop a 14-year-old from 3D printing a handgun and blowing away their teacher? Okay? What processes do we have in place to at least try, right? I know we're going to fail sometimes, but what processes do we have in place to at least try to stop that from happening? Okay? And this is again where I go, look, we got to do something. And again, our Congress is just lost in the fucking sauce on this, and it drives me absolutely up the wall. You know.
Yeah.
Somebody's bringing up a Constitution Convention. Yeah, you can submit a bunch of stuff, but they all still have to be ratified. At the end of the day, I'm not worried about a constitutional amendment banning gay marriage because it wouldn't get ratified. There's too many states that would not ratify it for it to become a full-blown constitutional amendment. It's the same reason we can't amend the Constitution to fix the Second Amendment. Is you're just never going to happen. Hell, we can't get the Equal Rights Amendment across the, I think they're one state away, but they couldn't get that across the finish line, right? Somebody in the chat, I'd like 50% of our representatives to not give me the feeling that they would ask me what the any key is to press.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. And I've talked about this. This was a long time in the show. Every time there is a congressional hearing or a Senate hearing about like social media where they bring in like the CEO of TikTok and Facebook and Twitter, and every time I watch those because it's fucking hilarious to watch these geriatric old men be like, can the TikTok know what my phone TikTok network TikTok, right? Because they really do. They will, and they have young aides who can explain this to them, but they're like, does the TikTok know my clock? You know, and they just, it's completely ridiculous. So if you ever want like a good laugh, watch those hearings, right? Because they get real dumb real fast, and it's hilarious. So, yeah, we got to do something. We really do. 11,000 ghost guns is a huge number.
Yeah, and I was actually like, while you were talking, I kind of looked. In 2023, supposedly there was over 27,000 suspected of being collected nationally. 27,000. That's a lot. That's a lot of 13-year-olds like 3D printing guns.
Fortunately, from what I understand, most of the full-blown 3D printed firearms are basically like one shot and they're done because they don't have the structural capacity to be used over a period of time. But yeah, I mean, if you just want to blow away one teacher, yeah. So there you go. All right, folks, let us know what you think down in the comments below.